the presence of God.
Some of us talk about the presence of God, but many times we do not get into the feeling of this great transcendent power. We need to practice being still, not so much to think about the presence of God, but actually to feel it. Jesus knew the value of going apart to pray, to feel God's presence. While at the mountain lake during the summer, I watched two fishermen. They were out early, but did not seem too concerned about catching fish. They were strolling along the shores of this beautiful little lake just to get the feeling of the out of doors and to take in the beauty of their surroundings. They were truly enjoying the beauty of nature. In this environment, it was easy to feel the presence of God. There was no unnecessary talking, but a constant communion with the beauty of the out of doors, God's creation. There was no disturbing note to spoil the quietness of nature. Birds were singing in the trees around the lake, the lapping of the water against the boat with quiet and peace giving to one's soul. The contemplation of beautiful, inspiring thoughts was easy. Now and then a water lily, which had become loosened from the pad, floated easily and peacefully on the lake. All of this was a relaxing, renewing experience. However, when we cannot get away to a quiet and peaceful place, we need to find these quiet places within ourselves. Most of us hurry too much and do not see the beauty around us. When we feel the presence of God within us, we can feel it any place, at any time. It is good to get away for quiet times, but it is good to learn to be quiet whenever we need to be. If you feel disturbed, restless, and perhaps fearful, this is a time to listen to that ever-present one within you saying, "Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God." A line from one of the old hymns says, "All wisdom is in silence given for every hourly need." This is a good line to remember. The light you need will come as you learn to be still. To all anxious, fearful, and disturbed states of mind, just quietly and firmly say, "Be still and know that I am God." Feel and realize that this is God talking to you. A great peace and calm will come over you, and you will be assured that God is looking after you. Feel the presence of God in the quietness of your own soul. Then you will feel His presence always with you and about you. People talk about God, but many times never feel His presence. Pray until you feel His presence enfolding you. It is not lip service, but feeling that brings results. Your appreciation of the presence of God helps you to see all of life differently. No matter how discordant things may appear to you, try living in the beautiful world God has given us. And to everyone He has given a chance to enjoy and appreciate it. Hate, war, and poverty are not of God's planning, but come into expression through man's lack of love and understanding. Jesus said the kingdom of heaven is at hand. It's time for us to learn to live in the peace and harmony of God's thoughts for the world. If it is not possible for you to go to a quiet spot, you can create your own quiet spot wherever you are. This is what most of us must do. And the Unity teachings show us how to be quiet whatever our environment is. I had a lovely friend who used to spend her summers in Colorado, close to a mountain stream. Circumstances changed and she moved to the city. Now, in her mind, she realized the quietness and peace that she felt in her summer retreat. She is happy living in the feeling of peace, just where she is. In fact, she says that she feels sometimes she is right by the quiet stream. The beauty of the experience she lived many years ago is a part of the peace and joy of her life now. She has learned that wherever she is, God is, and that His blessings are constantly poured out upon her. One of the essentials in our development is to recognize that we're more than just a physical being. We are spiritual beings, created for eternity. Our spiritual development is dependent upon our recognition that we are spirit, soul, and body. We deal mostly with the body, but there are spiritual centers within us that we must quicken for our spiritual growth and development. Jesus went apart from the multitudes to pray because he needed to refresh himself through prayer. His calling of the disciples represents the calling of the various powers in the spiritual nature which have action in the body. It is good to take time each day to practice a little silence drill for your body. You can use a prayer, something like this. I thank you, Father, that all tension, stress, and strain are released from my mind and body, and all anxiety and fear are released from my mind and body through the incoming of divine love and peace into my consciousness. As you say this, feel relaxed and free from tension and strain. Let these feelings go, just as if they were melted away, just as if you were letting them go forever. Think of relaxation in your entire body. Learn to relax the head and foot muscles, and to relax the entire body. I believe we're going to do this very quickly. We can teach the body to relax so that the moment we feel or think of any tightness or tension, we can say to ourselves, relax and let go. Relax and let go. Say to yourself, I relax and let go all tension, stress, or strain. Then expect your body to follow your words and thought. In other words, meet in agreement with your thinking in your feeling nature. One reason some people do not get the results they wish is that they think or speak the word, but do not find a point of agreement with it. Every time you say, I relax and let go, meet in agreement with it by doing what you've said. Relax and let go. This is an important point in following truth ideas. You may not just think them, but you take time to agree with them in your feeling nature. I relax and let go, and the peace and harmony of God flood my entire being. Say this peacefully and quietly, without putting any will or force into the idea. When you say, I relax and let go, then follow through by doing it. When you have taught your entire body to relax, from the top of your head to the tips of your toes, then you are ready to arouse some of the spiritual powers within you. The 12 disciples of Jesus stand for 12 spiritual powers within him. We will not take all of them up in this talk. Jesus, of course, the head of them all, represents the Son or the Christ, and is the light of our being. Light is the first quality of mind to be developed. It stands for the Christ in our nature. So we call upon the light of Christ to shine through every part of our nature and through all of the body. Say with your attention at the top of the head, I am the light of the world. Remember, Jesus said, I am the light of the world, and ye are the light of the world. Remember this, ye are the light of the world. We must apply this idea of light to our body consciousness so that the very cells and atoms of our body will take hold of it. Say, I am the light of the world, and feel that you have the cooperation of all the cells and atoms of your body. One of the great scientists of this age has told us that there's light in the center of every atom of the body, and that this has been proven in the laboratory. Say, I am the light of the world, and think of every part of your wonderful body as filled with light. When you say, I am the light of the world, follow through with your thought into every part of your body, and in recognition of your thought of light about it, your body will shine and glow with light and life. You will commence to see that you are literally a body of light. Just commence to see that you're literally a body of light. If there is some place in your body where you feel you need healing, say, the Christ light is shining through me, healing every part. The Christ light is shining through me, healing every part. Then follow through by giving thanks that God's healing light and life are pouring through the part needing healing, as well as in and through every part of your wonderful, intelligent body. The disciple Philip represented spiritual power in us. His center of action is in the throat. Say to this center, all power is given unto me in mind and body. Anytime you feel unequal to some situation in your life, affirm with attention in the throat, all power is given unto me in mind and body. I often remember Charles Fillmore in a silent evening meeting affirming, all power is given unto me in mind and in body. Then he would speak with great power and authority. You are not a weakling. You have power and authority in your life over every situation. Nothing can get you down. You are strong in the Lord and the power of his might. We think of the disciple John as representing love, which is very important in our lives. Let us say, God's love is deep within me, ever satisfying my soul. Now direct your attention toward the heart, the center of love. Say over and over until you commence to feel that you are filled to overflowing with such a consciousness of God's love that you will be able to bless your entire body with a baptism of love. This love will flow through you to bless all whom you meet. Love is one of the great qualities of mind that we all need to develop. We need to develop in order to meet life's experiences. It really makes the body to rejoice at this great love consciousness. Love is a tremendous spiritual power within us, awaiting our recognition and development. Love dissolves in harmony in us and flows out from us to bless every person and every situation in our life. It makes all of life's experiences joyous and uplifting. Let love radiate through you to bless the entire world. And one of the great disciples is Andrew, who stands for strength. The center of strength is in the small of the back. Some people have trouble getting out of bed in the morning from the feeling of lack of strength. Andrew is strength, and we need to call his power forth into our body consciousness. Say with the attention in the small of the back, I am strong in the Lord and the power of his might. I am strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Then led to this idea of strength one of joy. The joy of the Lord uplifts and blesses me all day long. The joy of the Lord uplifts and blesses me all day long. Say it before and after you get out of bed. Joy is one of our very important powers of mind, and one that is essential to our well-being. There's too many things to make us feel depressed and unhappy if we allow them to. The joy of the Lord uplifts and blesses me all day long. You can take hold of this idea so that you will jump up out of bed with the joy of living, and there will be no depression in you. These are just a few points to help you develop your own wonderful spiritual nature. Remember, you are first and always a spiritual being, endowed by God with all the spiritual powers and abilities you will ever need. Just develop them and enjoy living. One of the great prayers we have used for years in unity is one that Charles Fillmore gave us about renewing life. The glorious infusion of the more abundant life of Jesus Christ uplifts, blesses, and heals me. The glorious infusion of the more abundant life of Jesus Christ uplifts, blesses, and heals me. Another helpful idea came to some of us who were taking a walk on the Unity grounds during a lunch period. I am young, strong, healthy. My body knows it and my body shows it. I'm young, strong, healthy. My body knows it, and my body shows it. Your wonderful body temple will rejoice in this idea, and you will never again call yourself old or incapable. Your body responds to joyous words of life. It is a temple of the living God, constantly renewed and restored through the life-giving principle. Remember, you are the ever-renewing, ever-unfolding expression of joyous life. And the sound of the love and joy of God flow through you to bless all humanity. God bless you eternally.
This concludes side 1 of your cassette. The following program is a recording of Martha Smock entitled, It's All Within You.
It is my pleasure to share with you some thoughts about healing. I do not pretend to know all there is to know about healing, but I do know what I have learned about healing in my own experience. And from my many years of association with Silent Unity, I have come to a firm belief that every condition can be healed, that truly with God all things are possible. It is easy to believe in healing and to accept the idea of health as right and natural when one feels well and strong, which is the way most of us feel most of the time. It is when illness strikes us or someone dear to us that our faith is put to a test. Perhaps we have, as far as we know, always thought in positive terms, have always thought in terms of health and wholeness. We may find ourselves saying, as I did when some years back I was meeting a severe health challenge, that I've never been sick a day in my life. It finally dawned on me that this was not important. It was like a drowning man saying that I've never drowned in my life. The need was to do something, to rise out of the condition, to find healing, just as a man who thinks he is drowning has to float or find something to hang on to, or in some way extricate himself from the water. One time Myrtle Fillmore, in some of her writings, said that she had a physical condition which did not seem to respond to faith or prayers, no matter how persistent she was. She said that as she was praying for light, it came to her, "You have searched among your faults. Now search among your virtues." Those of us who are trying to live by truth teachings, trying to keep our thinking positive and constructive, trying to express only ideas of life and goodness, when we become ill, we're apt to wonder where we have failed, where we have gone wrong. We search our consciousness for faults and failings. Myrtle Fillmore said that when it came to her that she was to search among her virtues, she realized that she had prided herself on keeping everything bottled up within herself. She could see that she had mistaken suffering in silence for patience and forbearance. As she was able to let go of inner feelings of frustration and let the joy and freedom of spirit take over in her and express through her, she was healed. Some of us may, without realizing it, have a sort of false pride about our need of healing. I discovered that I did. It took my 10-year-old daughter to help me see this. I did not want to admit that I needed healing, needed help. I did not want anyone outside the family to know that I had any such need. This child said quite calmly to me one day, "You know, Mother, you're not God." Like Myrtle Fillmore, I needed to search among my virtues, or what I thought of as a virtue, which was never to admit even to myself or anyone that I was less than perfectly healthy. This then was part of my healing. Many times people ask for prayers for healing from Silent Unity, for instance, and when they're not healed, they may ask Silent Unity to tell them why. Silent Unity never attempts to do this, for no one else can know another's inmost feelings or his inmost soul. But Silent Unity always prays for the healing of the whole person. Healing is, of course, healing of the body, but spiritual healing includes healing of the emotions, healing of the thoughts and feelings. One friend said that when she was a young woman, she wrote to Silent Unity for healing prayers at the suggestion of a relative. When she was not healed, she wrote to Silent Unity again, wanting to know what she was doing wrong. She said that Silent Unity told her to search her consciousness to see if there was anything she was harboring that she needed to let go of. She said that she had a stepfather whom she had hated since she was 12 years old. She took up the idea of forgiveness, and instead of praying for healing alone, she prayed for the forgiving love of Christ to help her overcome her feelings of resentment and hatred. She said that before long the stepfather told her mother he'd never seen such a change in anyone as in this girl. She was writing us 50 years later to tell us about it, and said that she had never had to have the operation that the doctors had said was absolutely necessary at the time. Her healing came through forgiveness. Sometimes, many times, the need for healing is linked with the need for forgiveness. We may have been holding unforgiving thoughts about others. Many times, more times than not, we are unforgiving of ourselves. We keep some unhappy incident of the past alive by continually bringing it to mind. We feel that we cannot be forgiven. The woman said that not until she was 80 years of age did she finally realize what forgiveness meant. Now she was able to see herself in a new light. She felt free for the first time of the burden of guilt she had been carrying around with her. It's always a good idea to practice forgiveness. Charles Fillmore calls forgiveness a sure remedy for every ill the flesh is heir to. He suggests that one mentally forgive everyone and everything, even an animal that he has felt any antipathy toward or resentment of, before going to bed at night. To do this is to clear away negation from our mind and heart, to make us open and receptive channels for God's healing, harmonizing love. What do we do and how do we handle feelings of fear that come when we or someone dear to us are faced with a condition that is termed incurable? In my own experience, one time the verdict was that I could not expect to be healed. This was the clear realization that came to me. Not my will, not the doctor's will, but thy will be done. I was willing to utterly release myself to God, to his will, and healing came. When we realize that God's will is always life and healing, that God's will is always good, we can make this utter commitment to his will. One of the most helpful healing articles around this idea. It was a story of Solomon, who painted the famous Christ head. He had been given a negative prognosis by his doctor and told to set his affairs in order. But when he told his wife and they prayed, it was not for healing alone that they prayed. Their prayer was, not my will, but thine be done. Solomon prayed to be shown what he was to do with his life, how he could make his life meaningful. His healing did come, and he was inspired to paint the picture of Christ that has become world famous. Many times in praying for healing we become discouraged. We give up too easily. We accept what someone else says about our condition. We may even allow ourselves to fall into thinking of ourselves as weak or helpless. We let the body dictate to us rather than lifting up the body through our faith. Our body is intelligent. It It responds to our word of truth. It responds to our prayers. But the great realization that comes to us in praying for healing is that healing has to come from within ourselves. That it is more than a matter of just the right healing words. It is more than a matter of believing in God's power to heal. It is a matter of actually laying hold of the life idea, of incorporating it into our very being. How do we do this? Affirmations are wonderfully helpful, for they turn us away from thinking in terms of disease or illness. But the affirmation has to become more than words thought about or even spoken aloud. The affirmation becomes a feeling that pervades not just our thought, but our whole being. Are we affirming life? Then we have to feel life in every part of us. Yet in my flesh shall I see God. We need to let the life idea take over in our very flesh. The call to life is being sounded continually in us. At the time I was experiencing my health challenge, I was in a hospital. It had been a time of walking through the valley of the shadow for me, a time when my mind affirmed and tried to stay with all the truth that I knew, but still my body did not respond. I remember vividly 2 dreams that I had at this time. In one dream, it was as though I had awakened, and I felt small and helpless lying there in the hospital bed. A voice somewhere above me said to me, "This is not all of you." I answered, "Yes, it is." The voice said again, "This is not all of you." The other dream was of myself spinning in space. I was a globe, I was a sphere, saying, "It's all in you, it's all in you." I thought a great deal about these dreams and their meaning, and I knew they were both bringing me a message of life, recalling me back to life. When we have to deal with a physical problem, it sometimes seems that the body is all important. All attention is given to the body, its functioning, its temperature, its day-to-day response to treatment, and so on. And in working so hard to heal the body, we may overlook the healer. "This is not all of you" was to remind me that I was more than flesh and blood. I was spirit. The dream about the globe must have been to remind me that my life was without beginning or end. The words, "It's all in you," were to remind me that the healing I was seeking, the understanding I was seeking about the experience in which I found myself, the light that I was groping for, all of these were already in me. The truth was in me, God was in me, the answers I was seeking were in me. I had been praying for healing. I had been affirming life, strength, and health. Now I held to these words and to this idea: I am the resurrection and the life. Each of us, when going through an experience that demands all our faith, that challenges everything in us, searches for new clues to truth and healing, new light on this matter of life. This is not all of you. Was it the inner Christ telling me in a vision or in a dream, "Seek me, find me, know me. I am your life. I am the resurrection and the life"? "It's all in you" was this same spirit in me saying to me, "Why look outside yourself? Here I am, the Spirit of life, mighty in the midst of you. All that you need, all that you will ever need, is encompassed in me. Your life is hid with me in God." The words, "Be still and know that I am God," were especially helpful to me in quieting my fears, in harmonizing my emotions, in becoming outwardly still and inwardly still. This may not sound like a healing prayer, but it is. Be still and know that I am God. Then follow this feeling of deep inner quietness, this feeling of the presence of God, with the realization that your body is the temple of the living God. Do you not know that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit within you, which you have from God? So glorify God in your body. I remember saying this over and over to myself at a time when I really needed to realize it. I thought about the words glorify God in your body, and to me they meant show forth God's healing in your body. This is your way of glorifying God. You are to shine with health. You are to glow with health. You are to be a radiant, living expression of health. An affirmation that has been especially helpful to me is, there is only one life. God
Dr. Harris, Director of the Regional Technical Center. You are now going to hear a tape how a number of people, many of whom have been hospitalized, successfully handle a skill which is very important in getting along with other people. This skill is asking for help. When we ask for help, someone aids us in handling a difficult we have not been able to which you will hear. The problem is decide if you want the people problem. Here's more like the system to deal with the situation. When the help of the letter is solve the problem. If he does not find an answer for him, he may be less able to deal with the present situation in an efficient way. So when you ask for help, you will benefit by following these 5 steps. First, define the problem that troubles you. Second, decide if you want to seek help for it. Third, identify the people who might help you. Fifth, make a choice of helper. And fifth, helper about your problem. You will now hear good examples of these steps in asking for help. The people in this tape are actors, but what you will do actually occurs in real situations. We want you to learn these steps in order to get the benefit of being skilled at asking for help. So please pay attention. Thank you.
I'd really like to go over to get a cup of coffee. I can't quite where the canteen is now. Maybe I better ask somebody. Other people over there, they look like they're pretty busy. I think they're walking right up the path. I think I'll ask them something. Excuse me, can you tell me where the canteen is?
Okay, just go right in that building right ahead of you. Take a right, you'll find an elevator. Take to the ground floor. Take another right and walk towards the front.
Thanks for that. I've got a terrible toothache. I've ignored it for so long, I just can't ignore it any longer. I thought maybe it would go away, like it always did. I think I'm going to fix it, do something about it. Maybe to get some help. Oh, let me see, I'm new in town, so I don't have a dentist. Oh, boy, it's
cold in here. I don't think the heat went on last night. I turned the thermostat on like the landlord told me to do. I wonder if I should talk to someone about this. I should do something. I'm going to freeze to death because they say it's going to be colder tomorrow. I don't want to create any problems, though. You know, they might send me back to the hospital. You know, the social worker said, you know, not to get too upset about things. But it's cold. I think I'm going to have to talk to someone. Let's see. Well, I could talk to Mrs. Smith downstairs about it. Well, maybe she won't know what to do, though. I guess I'm going to have to talk to Mr. Mosier. He's a landlord. Landlord's supposed to take care of these things, I think. I think that's what I'll do. I'll talk to Mr. Mosier. Mr. Mosier?
Yes?
Can I talk to you for a minute?
Yes, certainly.
My apartment's awfully cold, and I don't think that my heat is working. Could you check on it for me?
Are you in room 10?
Yes.
How long has this been going on?
Well, I just tried to turn it on last night.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that, so I'll have the oil company check into that today.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness, I just took my last dose of medicine, and I really need it. The last time I was out, I didn't bother taking it. Within a few weeks, I was back at the hospital. Oh, I can't remember what they told me to do. But I do need the medicine, and I've got to see someone. I could call the social worker at the hospital. No, she'll probably think I'm stupid and I didn't listen to her. Can't remember. Maybe if I call the welfare department. I have the prescription, but I just don't have the money. No, they probably couldn't help me. Oh, wait, she gave me a card to go to the clinic. Maybe that's where I'm supposed to go. I'll call the clinic.
County Clinic.
Sir, I have a problem. I ran out of medicine, and I have an appointment to see you next week, but I really need my medicine before that. What should I do?
Well, do you think you could get in today?
Sure, I could. Could you
Well,
see
why
me
don't you
again?
hop on the bus and come on in? We'll take
Okay,
care
I'll
of it.
do that. Thank you.
Well, here I'm on Main Street. I've been up to work, told me where it was, but now I forgot the name of the street. Geez, I have to find someone to help me. There's a couple ladies coming down the street. But they're talking away. I hate to interrupt them. Here comes a man behind them. But he just walked into the shoe store. There's a policeman over there. I was always told to ask a policeman if I needed help in the city. Maybe I'll ask the policeman. Excuse me, officer, could you tell me where the tobacco store is down here?
Well, sure. We have just one. Just go down Main Street here, 2 blocks, and you take a left, and it's the second store on the right.
Thank you.
Please listen carefully to the examples. Try to identify each step as it occurs and note how the actor carries it out. Remember, first, define the problem that troubles you. Second, decide if you want to seek help for the problem. Third, identify the people who might help you. Fourth, make a choice of helper. And fifth, tell the helper about your problem.
Boy, I really feel terrible this morning. I feel so sick and dizzy. Gee, the doctor changed my medicine about 4 or 5 days ago, I think it was. And I wonder if that's what's bothering me. I'm so dizzy, I really don't know whether I can get down the stairs to have breakfast. I better ask somebody, because this just isn't right. Well, there's the aide over there making the bed. She really doesn't seem to have time right now to break in on her. And of course the doctor isn't here yet, it's too early. Well, there's the nurse. I think I'll ask her. She usually can tell you pretty much what you need to know. Excuse me. May I speak with you for just a minute? Certainly. I really feel very, very bad this morning. Do you think it could be my medication?
What do you feel like?
I'm very nauseated and dizzy. I'm afraid I'm going to fall down the stairs.
All right, I'll help you to bed. And if you'd like to, you can eat in bed, and then we'll have the doctor see you.
Thank you, nurse.
Well, I wish I hadn't volunteered for this patient bake sale last week at the community meeting. I didn't know at the time that they were going to have that band concert at 11 today. There was only 10 other people that volunteered for that, too, and I guess I'm stuck working here. Between 10 and 12. If I could only get out of here at 11. I think I'm going to ask somebody if I can change with them or do something to get out of this thing. For an hour, at least. I don't think I'd better ask the recreation lady, because they told us at the time that once they put our name down, we were supposed to work for that time unless we found somebody to take our place. I don't know anybody else that's on this list that I can... Well, Jim's down from 1 to 3. I could ask him, maybe. I guess I'll ask Jim. Jim, what are you doing at 11 o'clock this morning? Anything?
No, I have nothing planned.
Well, you know, you're down on this bake sale list between 1 and 3. I wonder if maybe they could switch with you for an hour. I want to go do something at 11 o'clock.
Sure. If you think you can make it between 1 and 3.
Yeah, I can do it this afternoon.
Okay.
Here's one of these Social Security things in the mail. I can't even read it. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with it. They keep asking all these questions, and I know I won't get my Social Security until I fill it out, but I can't seem to figure it out. Maybe I need some help with it. I asked the nurse about it, and she really didn't know how to answer it. And my son couldn't help me with it. He didn't know what all those forms were all about. And the social worker, she's so busy. Well, I think she's the only one that has the answers, and maybe I have to make an appointment with the social worker. That's what I'll do. Mrs. Jones, I have all these Social Security forms again. I need some help filling them out. I know you're real busy. Could I make an appointment to see you?
Would you like to see me right now?
You mean you have time to see me? That would really be terrific. I could figure them out then.
Jeez, I'm almost out of cigarettes again. I've only got 3 left. And it's only Monday morning, and I can't go into town with my pass until Saturday. I've really got to get cigarettes, and if I go over and buy a pack, then I'll waste my money. I should really get a carton. I don't know if I should even ask anybody around here or not. I probably ought to give up smoking anyway. But I really want to get those cigarettes. I better ask somebody. I can't ask Betty anymore. I've bummed cigarettes for her for months. She's never going to speak to me anymore if I keep asking her. And Jenny, I don't know. I don't even think she likes me. I don't think she goes that way anyway. I don't know who to ask. I think tomorrow's the day that Andrea goes into town to get the groceries for the ward. Yeah. If I could ask her to get them, she'd probably go right by Nichols. So that's what I'll do. I'm going to ask Andrea to get them. Andrea, is tomorrow the day you go into town to get the groceries for the ward?
Yes, it is, Cliff.
Do you think maybe you could get me some cigarettes tomorrow?
I'd be glad to.
I've got my money and everything right here.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get a carton because I don't have very much money left. Could you get me some Winston 100 Golds? I'll give you the money right now.
I'll put it here on the list.
Thank you. Thank you, Andrea.
It certainly is good to be out of the hospital. But boy, things have really changed. Here I am in the laundromat, and I really don't even know how to work these washing machines. I've got to do my wash, so I'm going to have to find some help somewhere. I guess I really have got to ask somebody, but these people are going to think there's something the matter with me. That lady over there doesn't look like she'd be very helpful. No, I don't think I'm going to ask her. That other one over by the dryer, the one with the kid. Maybe she could help me. Excuse me, lady?
Yes?
Could you tell me how to work this thing?
Sure.
You have just heard what people do when they ask for help in a skilled and effective manner. They first define the problem that troubles them. Second, decide if they want to seek help for the problem. Third, identify the people who might help them. Fourth, make a choice of helper. And fifth, tell the helper about their problem. When they showed these good steps in asking for help, they found someone who was able to aid them in handling the situation rapidly and efficiently. We have taught these steps for asking for help to dozens of people like yourself, and we know that they really work. Since we would like you to be skilled at asking for help and to receive the benefits of having that skill, the persons leading your meeting today will help you practice these steps and learn them well.
What's that? What's that?
Pass away.
You still feel you're going to pass away? How does that make you feel? What makes you feel that you're going to pass away, Mr. Tobias? I'm interested in knowing what makes you feel that way. You don't know.